Welcome back. My channel is Rene Marcus. Thank you so very much for tuning in. And if you're new to my channel, please do me that favor and press that subscribe button. So guys, I do have a special guest today, which it's an honor to actually have him, because this is very important that we're starting a discussion, and he's going to be my right hand while I'm in the Gambia to help and support me to get to the level that I want to get to in regards to supporting my people. Like I always say on my channel, I'm here for my people and I'll do anything for my people, and I meant every single word that I say. So I'll let him introduce himself so that you'll get to know who he is.
Thank you so much, Rene. I am Honorable Abdoulie Cessay, National Assembly member for Gambian constituency, just around in the communal here.
Okay. Oh, that's good. So can you kindly tell us what your roles are as an MP?
As a National Assembly member, I have only about 3 functions.
Okay.
To represent my people in Parliament, to legislate laws, and then to also conduct oversight over the government. Again, these are the 3 functions that I am doing as a member of Parliament. Representation, that is to work with my people at the level of the constituency, those that voted for me, and in fact even those who did not vote for me. We come together and then we work for the betterment of our constituency. And legislation as well, that is when laws are brought to Parliament, and then we contribute to debate, take part in debates, and then make sure that the government has proper laws for the people of the Gambia. And oversight, we conduct our government when expenditures are made. We try to check whether the government did the right thing in terms of spending public funds on projects that they intend to give to the people of the Gambia. This is actually what we do.
Oh, okay. And so far, have you guys been managing, or have you guys kind of limited, let's say, funds that other departments have been using in the country, or has it been just the same?
Actually, if you look at the budget on a yearly basis, what we do is departments will put up their budget and then send it to the Minister of Finance based on what they wanted to spend for the year. And finance will look at it and also give a ceiling where they cannot pass that ceiling. That means if you want to spend 100 million and finance will say, okay, no, we are only giving you 50 million, and you cannot pass 50 million, for example. That is the ceiling. And when they prepare their budget within that ceiling, and then they will send it to the Minister of Finance, they will go bilateral, and then all these things will come back to Parliament. And then we will sit over it and look at the proposals we have in the budget. Some we will approve, but if you are not satisfied with some of the budget lines, we still have the powers to remove them or advise the minister that this thing cannot go because it's not in the interest of the people of the Gambia. So basically what we have been doing is we have limited the expenditure for the departments that are operating in the Gambia, looking at the situation right now, and giving the government the latitude to spend more on projects from the revenue that we collect within the Gambia than receiving or taking loans from outside the Gambia. That is giving us a lot of burden. So as of now, most of the funds that we collect are going to projects in our own country that are taking loans. So we have limited the expenditure of departments in terms of largest expenditures are mean spending on things that are not necessary for the people of the country.
Okay. That's amazing. So you've mentioned things like the budget that, let's say, other departments might need, but then they have a limit up to what they can spend. So where does that budget actually go to? So what do they actually spend it on?
It depends on what they prepare in the budget. Normally what they do is, the budget is just like a document that is placed at the Minister of Finance. The physical cash is with the minister. It's responsible. And then when the department need money from their budget line, they will make a request to the Minister of Finance that from our vote, we want this amount of money to be spent on a particular activity.
Oh, okay.
And when that request is approved, the money will be transferred to their vote. They still have an account at the central bank where this money will be transferred, and then that department will be able to access that money and conduct the activity they want to do. This is how it happens.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, while I'm actually in the Gambia, I have seen quite a lot of issues that are bothering me. I know that some of these might not be your sector, but I'm sure you might be able to briefly educate me on that. So when it comes to the roads, so I see quite a lot of bad roads, even though I know the President Barrow is still working on the roads, and I know there are projects being implemented in regards to roads. But would roads be expanded? Because sometimes I know that the previous president did left a mark, but then 2 years ago when I was in the Gambia, I saw those specific marks. And now I'm still in the country and I still saw those marks, but I also saw that the roads have been made but not touched onto those marks. And why is that?
Actually, with the Minister of Works and the National Road Authority responsible for the roads, what I know is, if you look at the main roads that we have in the Gambia, going from Brikama to Banjul, they maintain the size, except for the new roads that they're intending to construct. What they will tell you, Pat, is the lack of resources, enough resources to be able to expand the road at least to the level that people can use it without having any problem. But as of now, I think on the OIC projects, the consultants and then the contractors have been working on the measurement that they wanted actually for the roads today. They are working on that. I am not privy to that information for now. What I do know is about 20 roads will be constructed, and then I know they will have a size that will actually fit the purpose, and the people will be able to use it without having any problem.
Perfect. Because right now there are so many cars in the Gambia, and the traffic is hectic. A place that should only take you to get to, let's say 20 minutes, can take you an hour. But due to the traffic, because there's huge amounts of cars being imported in the country. And another issue that I have, which I've actually mentioned to you in regards to cars, if they are certain old, let's say if they are 10 years or more, let's say 15 years old, they shouldn't be allowed in the country. That's how I feel, because I feel like that will actually give the traffic less hectic.
Sure.
Yeah. But I don't know how that's going to be like, but we'll see who's going to help with that.
Actually, I will agree with you with regards to the roads. We have a lot of bad roads within the area, and we pretty much saw that the situations will change, maybe later. And since the government is working towards, the OIC is working towards having this thing be reconstructed, I know improvement will happen. With regards to the vehicles, I will agree with you. There has to be a policy, and I think the government can introduce a policy. And so that most people in the Gambia that serves 10 years of its lifespan in wherever it may come from. That has to be a policy that Gambia has. I completely agree with you, and I think that will help us a lot. That people will not bring in vehicles that have spent almost 30 years of their life going in Europe and bring them here, and we want to make them new.
Exactly, because what ends up happening is that, I'm not sure whether you noticed this, but while I'm in the country, I try to keep my eye wide open to see what's going on. And I see quite a lot of packed, unwanted cars on the road, broken, scrap cars, which have been sitting there for God knows how long, 5 years, 10 years even, on the roads, which is not making the country look good, because there's just scrap everywhere. And why are those cars coming in, which I don't get? So if the government actually put in place something like that to say, okay, a car that has actually spent its lifespan for more than 15 years shouldn't enter the country, that would help, not only help the country itself and traffic, it would also help when it comes to health and safety, because I've mentioned some cars don't even have proper brakes, some cars don't have proper lights, breaking lights and all of these mirrors as well. It's very important. So there's quite a lot of health and safety when it comes to bring importing old cars into the country. So I know a lot of people wouldn't be happy because whether it's an old car or new car, it still takes you to your destination. Some people will say that, well, I'm thinking about the health and safety of my people.
One thing I know as a country, I think we are prioritizing more to receive resources than the health and safety of the people in this aspect, because bringing those cars into Gambia will only improve the resource base of the country, because if you import a car, then there is a levy that you're supposed to pay, and that will improve the resource base of the country. But then looking at the health and security of the people, safety of the people, like you mentioned, I think that has been prioritized in this case. So I think it is our common, recommendation that the government look into that issue and be able to come up with a policy that will, protect the people in the country with regards to having vehicles that are spent 15 years of their lifespan, bringing them into the Gambia and using them whatever purpose it might be.
Absolutely. That takes me to my other question. Like I said, this might not be in your sector, so it might be limited what you have to say. But it also takes me to the fishery sector. I have also, these are like videos that I've talked about on my channel, because I talk quite a lot about Gambia and it gets me emotional when I get deep into it. So when it comes to fishery, I knew that Gambia was expensive when it comes to fish, but I didn't know it was this expensive until I got to Gambia and went to the market. I've been to the market to shopping, and I can't believe 5 fish, small fish, would cost me $500. And I said to myself, okay, that's fine because I can afford it. But I'm not thinking about myself, I'm thinking about the less privileged people. Because I then asked my brother, I go to the market with him, how about people that only have $200 for fish money? What would they do? He said, well, they might buy the small kobo and stuff like that, or maybe not even fish, maybe kumbahal or something, which is very sad. And I do know that the Chinese, I'm not sure whether you'd be happy to speak about it, but I do know that the Chinese have quite a lot of fish meal factories. And I'm not sure whether you are aware of where they actually take this fish to and what they use the fish for, which is very, very upsetting because they actually change the fish into powder. Once they do that, they then export it back to their country to feed their pigs. And I'm saying they are actually, let's say, manufacturing our fish into powder and then exporting it to China to feed their pigs. While us, the Gambians, are suffering. We can't even afford to buy fish. Imagine if I was to actually stay in the Gambia for the next 5 years with just the budget that I'm with right now. I swear to God, I wouldn't be able to survive on buying fish every day. I'd rather eat chicken than fish because fish is so expensive. $200, I can buy enough chicken for the entire house. But $200, I can barely get a good fish that will satisfy me. And we are actually surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean. I used to sit on my channel and said, go to Gambia, you will eat fresh fish with the amount of £5, but I can't put my hands up right now and say that because fish is very expensive. Some might say it's not expensive, but it's very expensive. I'm thinking about the less privileged people. And I don't know what my government is doing about these Chinese. Yes, they are bringing in medication for us. When this whole COVID started, they were importing quite a lot of stuff for us, but we need to think about that. They're doing something for something, and what they're taking away from us is more than what they're giving us. And I think no one is saying anything about that, which is hurtful.
I totally agree with you with regard to the Chinese, having to do business in the Gambia in the fish sector. And this is something that has been in the spotlight for quite a long in the Gambia. That Chinese are doing business in the Gambia, taking our fish and taking them to China. These things have been here for quite a long time. But my opinion is, maybe probably the government of the Gambia had entered into agreement with China, to receive probably development projects in exchange of probably having fish from the Gambia and sending it. Because I remember in the parliament we ratified an agreement between the European Union and the Gambia government in terms of the fishing. The European Union will have these tuna fish from our sea and they will export it to their country. We have that agreement, and then they will also be paying some amount of money to the Gambia. It all boils down to Gambia as a poor country. The resource base is too small, and I think this is where the policymakers are also directing the country to. But I think it will be important for them to revisit the policy decisions that they are taking and look at them critically, and then also analyze it properly before they enter into certain agreements as well. Because that will help the people. Whenever you enter into an agreement and your people are not happy, sometimes it's important that as a government you try to track back and see what have you done wrong, and then correct those ones and move on. I quite agree with you. And I think as a government, they are new, they are also learning, probably going into their second term, perhaps if the government comes with it again, if these things will be returned to us, they will have to correct those things and move on. The other thing with regards to the sector, as Gambians, myself and my colleagues, we are all young and we have not been very active going to the river to fish and bring it south. Okay. This is a problem in the Gambia. Not many Gambians are doing it. All these things are done by Senegalese and other foreign nationals who will go deep in the sea, bring fish, and sell it any amount they want to sell. And the women folks in the Gambia will go there and buy it from them at a high cost, and they also go and sell it in the market. Yeah. So this is actually raising the cost of fish in the Gambia a lot. Looking at where the fish is coming from, the middleman who takes it from the producer, as I say, and they're selling it to the final consumer. You can see that the price is rising on a daily basis, and that is causing a lot of problem. It all boils down to the government again, and then anything you talk about, you have to do the government in this case. Being part of the government, I will take the blame, and I think our policymakers will definitely have to go down low and check all these things and be able to critically analyze and come up with an amicable solution for the people. But when people are upset with certain things, it's important that we listen and then be able to satisfy them when we are taking a decision going forward.
Okay, because I think that the Ministry of Fisheries should really listen to the fishermen and know exactly what they want. Even if they can't meet with their agreement, but try and meet in the middle. And take stuff out that they can't do, but also help them with some stuff. At least some people would be happy with that. Because I think fish is very expensive and it shouldn't be that way. Honestly, it's too much.
But
and
the ministry as well, if you had an engagement with them, they tell you, and they've been engaging, especially young people in Gambia, and their projects, when they buy boats for Gambian youth also,
Oh, they've been buying boats?
If you engage them, they will tell you that.
Okay.
Perhaps, at the level of, some sort of institutions that they come up with that. But I think it will be important for them to go into those projects as well, buy boats for young people, get in the sea, take fish, and then be able to sell it to the Gambian at a very low price. So that, our fish is our fish. The river is owned by the Gambia, it's in our country. We should be able to use or make the basis of the river, getting the fish and then consuming the fish at a very cheap price. That we have to.
Absolutely, because I did watch an interview that the Ministry of Fishery actually did. And when they asked him why did he allow the Chinese and also other Europeans to fish in the sea, he then said, even at that, they can't actually promise that those people will get what they want from the sea. And which was very disappointing, because the fact that he hasn't actually done a research on this to know how these people actually do their fishing. Because I went on to do more research to understand why were they so much interested in our sea. And I then found out that Gambia is actually a very rich country when it comes to the sea. And they actually have a specific system something like a navigation or something that can actually tell them where all the fishes are in the sea. So they don't even have to just throw their net and see whether they're going to get something or not. They already know where they're going. They already know, because I watched a documentary where they actually show you on their big screens where the fishes are located, and they just go there straight and throw their nets and get thousands of fish just by throwing one net. And when you look at the Gambians or the Senegalese that have the small boats, they have hundreds of baskets full of fish, while the Chinese and Europeans are catching our tunas. Tunas are very expensive. They are our treasures. And they're saying, oh, Gambians don't even eat tuna. But when you go to the market, tuna is very expensive. And it shouldn't be expensive for us, but it should be expensive for people that need it. Because when I watch other documentaries and other countries selling tunas, they're selling it for millions. And why would we give it out for thousands? And even that money, we're not seeing it. And honestly, I just want to see the Ministry of Fishery, like the specific, I think his last name is Gomez. Yeah. Yes, I really want to see him, and I would tell him my mind, because I am a Gambian, and I think we all have a right to say what we have to say. We really need to stick up for our people, because I swear to God, this voting year is going to be very hot. Honestly.
That's not a problem. I think it's important for you to see him, and you know, it's good that you see him and then have a chat with him, and then he also be able to tell a lot in the sector.
Yeah, because he said quite a lot that were disappointing, that he had no idea of. And it was disgraceful, because I'm sitting there saying, that's the Minister of Fishery. He should be aware of what's going on in the sea. And he's saying, oh, it's not like every day you go, sometimes you don't catch anything. They know, these Europeans and Chinese, they know before they go in the sea. They invested their equipment and everything because they know what's there. They will not come to Gambia if there's nothing in Gambia. Do you know? But I think we will end it there for today, as we have quite a lot to talk about, but we'll take it one step at a time. But I'm thanking you so much for taking your time to basically spend it with me today. I truly appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.